I'm a, P- I'm a PhD student at HKUST, and I'm serving as the Africa Chair. So for those who joined today who are not familiar with Africa, Africa is the African Network for Artificial Intelligence in Biomedical Imaging in Africa. And the main goal of Africa is to advance the AI research in medical imaging in Africa. And as part of our webinar series, we are here joined with three reputable speakers from the student board of MICAI, the top conference, I would say, in the medical imaging field. Specifically, we are joined with Yanis, who is the local student liaison in the MICAI student board. And he's originally from Marrakesh and doing his master's at Stanford University. We are also here joined with Anna, who is a PhD candidate at Harvard University and serving as the executive officer at the MICAI student board. And finally, we are joined with Amar, who is a PhD candidate at McGill University, serving as the educational officer at the MICAI student board. So yeah, the stage is yours. Tell us more about the MICAI student board and the initiative. And thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you so much for such a warm introduction, and thanks for inviting us. We are excited to speak on behalf of MICAI Student Society and tell you more about MICAI. And with that, can I get next slide, please? So what is MICAI? And in general, what does it comprises of? It is a very big community of people who are focused on research, particularly in the field of medical image computing and computer-assisted interventions. So there are a lot of parts to MICAI. One of the flagship events that you might have heard of that is happening this year in Marrakesh, Morocco, which we're all looking forward to. It's a conference that happens yearly. Conference consists of like yearly meeting, and it switches between continents, America, Europe, and Asia every year. And it connects a lot of people from different backgrounds and different universities in one place. So to participate in MICAI in general, you can submit your paper to the workshop, the standard, or to the main conference. So there are two different tracks. You can read a bit about all the details about application on the main website, but there are also a little bit different parts to the MICAI. There is also a part that is specifically responsible for the inclusiveness and diversity, which is called Rise MICAI. There is also a subgroup of people, or you can call it Women in MICAI, which is focused on promoting diversity and research in among women. And there is also MICAI student board, which we're a part of. And with that, can I get next slide? So MICAI student board is comprised of a group of people, volunteers. We have a lot of people. All of them are brilliant and very motivated. And we are responsible for organizing a couple of events for that are happening during the main conference, a yearly conference. And my colleagues will tell you a little bit more about what events are happening this year that are particularly organized by MICAI student board that you can take part of and participate. Some of them require registration, some of them not. So stage is all yours.
Yeah, so we have a few MICAI student board activities planned. A lot of them are social activities. We have morning runs on 2 days in the morning. We also have soccer game that is a tradition for the MICAI conference. And we have also a discovery of like the Moroccan culture that is so rich. And as a Moroccan national, I'm a bit biased, but I will say it's one of the most beautiful culture in the world. So it's really worth discovering with a cultural food tasting, for example. Moroccan food is really good. And also a guided city and gardens tour because Marrakesh has so much things to see. Yeah, feel free to scan the QR code if you want more information about the events that we have. Otherwise, can I have the next slide, please? So the first event is the morning runs. So the conference is taking place in a very beautiful neighborhood of Marrakesh. There's a bit outside of the city, but it's really scenic. It's called the Palmeraie, and we'll be doing morning runs on 2 days of the conference, very early in the morning. Yes, but it's a really nice opportunity to socialize and to get to know better other participants in the conference. All fitness levels are welcome. The next event, if I can get the next slide, please, is the soccer game where we require you to book your spot. It's a price of €10 per person. It's just to cover the cost of like booking the soccer field, but also the bus to get us from the conference venue to the field. And this is a tradition for the MSB and the MKI conference that we are doing every year. We do every year a soccer game, and it's a really nice way to get to know people from the conference and to socialize with other people. All levels are welcome again. It's a really great way to finish your day on October 9th. And the next two events are more related to the culture of Morocco. The first one is a food tasting and walking tour in the evening. So it'll be a 3-4 hours guided tour with a few stops in the Medina, in the city center of Marrakesh. We'll be trying and tasting a few really traditional food from Marrakesh, and then we'll also have a 3-course dinner. And same thing, participants will be transported to and from the conference venue. This is a price of €40 per person, and this is mostly to cover the cost of the food. Moroccan food has so much things to see, so many things to try. The couscous that you can see on the picture or the tagine are examples, but also discovering and walking through Jemaa el-Fnaan and the Medina and city center is really an atmosphere, and even more in the evening is a really unique atmosphere. The next event that we have planned, the next social activity that we have planned is, if I can get the next slide, thank you, is a guided city and gardens tour. So during this day, we'll be visiting a lot of landmarks in Marrakesh. It will be a full day guided tour in Marrakesh city center. We'll be visiting, for example, the Saadian tombs, the Baya Palace, the Madrasa Ben Youssef, Jemaa el-Fnaan, the Koutoubia Mosque, Majorelle Gardens, which is the most famous attraction in Marrakesh. And same thing, all this will be organized with guides, and it will be a nice way to discover the Moroccan culture, the Moroccan architecture. You can see a picture of the Baya Palace that is just beautiful here. And the price will be €55 per person, and the booking is required for this event as well, as we have a limited number of seats. And just as a small teaser, if I can get the next slide, that's Majorelle Gardens. That is beautiful. It's the most visited attraction in Marrakesh. It's a beautiful garden, and it's really unmissable thing to see in Marrakesh. If I can get the next one. Yeah, the Koutoubia Mosque, which is the most famous landmark that you can see on most of the pictures. If you Google Marrakesh, it's really beautiful. It's one of the oldest mosque in the Arab world. So really not to miss either. And maybe the last one. The Saadian tombs, which is really beautiful as well, as you can see with all those artistic drawings on the walls and on the roof, on the ceiling. So yeah, it's a small teaser, but please do come, as it's really worth it. And honestly, I'm a Moroccan national. I'll be biased, but Morocco is one of the most beautiful countries in the world, and those events will help you like enjoy most of your stay in Marrakesh, and it's really things that you cannot miss while being there.
Thanks, Yanis. So going through the last part, which is the MKI's contribution to education and research society in general. This year, for for the first time, MICA's student board is also organizing a workshop. We call it Emerge. It's empowering medical information computing and research through early career expertise. The deadlines for workshop is already over, but what will be interesting is if you are coming to Morocco and if you're participating in the MICA, do come to our workshop. This workshop is mostly directed towards early career researchers and who are mostly first or second year PhD students and supervising other students. And we already have accepted papers and a good lineup of researchers who are going to present their oral, going to present in the oral session. So if you're around the conference when you do participate in this workshop. The next thing, which is still open, and the deadline, as you can see, is 18th August. Previously, the deadline for this was 4th of August, and we have extended it. It's called MICA Educational Challenge, with the main goal to encourage members of MICA community to create and share educational materials covering fundamental concepts in medical image computing and computer-assisted interventions. So what this means in short is we also promote students who want to create some educational content, and this content could be in any form, maybe Jupyter Notebook, maybe videos, maybe blog post, maybe an interview. And if you go to MICA's website, which is available over here, and you can also scan the link. So that contains previous year's repository, and it shows you different material that was covered in the past. And also the prize winners. We are lucky to have Anna with us, who was also the last year's MICA Educational Challenge prize winner. So I'll request everyone, if you want, do participate in the MICA Educational Challenge, and this will also boost your skill of sharing information with other members of the society, as well as it gives us as MICA Society an access to talented researchers who want to explain or portray any topic of interest that is relevant to MICA Society. The last event that MICA Student Society is also hosting, in addition to all the other events, is Thesis Madness, which will happen on October 9th during the lunch session. This event is an opportunity for upcoming research to connect, collaborate, and construct new ideas. What this means is for people who are, especially in the last year, I'll talk about the eligibility in the next slide, who are almost finishing their PhD can apply to participate. And to participate, you just have to make submission through an open review portal. And more information about this is mentioned on this link. So if you are interested in participating in the Thesis Madness Challenge, it does not only have to be a PhD, it could also be a master's student. Please do participate in Thesis Madness Challenge, and there is also cash awards and award certificate given to the best presenter. A bit more detail about Thesis Madness. In order to participate, you will need your full name and affiliation. Also an abstract of your thesis in 300 words or less, and also a short explanation, maybe in 100 words, to say why your thesis is interesting and relevant to the MICA community in general. And in order to participate, you must be a final year PhD student or a recent graduate, not more than 6 months after finishing your PhD, and you are attending conference in person. Once you have those two eligibility criteria filled, the last criteria is just to prepare a 3-minute presentation summarizing your thesis for a broader audience, trying to make your topic relevant and clear for everyone to understand. And essentially that's it. And you get an opportunity to present in front of everyone, as well as you get an opportunity to participate among one of the prize winners. Who knows, you could be the next winner. So I'll definitely encourage everyone and welcome everyone to participate in these two challenges, which is the Thesis Madness and MICA Educational Challenge. You'll be surprised if you just go to the website and check through the last year's repository, how helpful students have found it in the past, that all those topics which are state of the art or topics which have been discussed a lot in the past. Though the details about those topics are present over here. So with that, we'd like to wrap this presentation and open the floor to questions and inquiries. So
I'd
if
like
you
to
want
add a
to
couple
be
of
part of
notes.
us and join them,
Yeah, I'd like to add a couple of notes.
please go ahead, Anna.
So, one good idea if you haven't been following Mikai at all and your first time hearing it, it happens yearly. So a lot of the deadlines for example, main conference deadline happens every year in March. So you can just keep yourself a reminder that you'd like to have a project ready if you want to submit to the main conference by February. And workshops are usually due in summer. I would say July, most of them past the deadline. So it's really a good idea to also check out the list of the workshops. They rotate every year, but it's very common that the workshop that was organized previous year will be also organized this year. So it's also a good idea in case you didn't get into the main conference, then redirect your paper and repurpose it into the workshop that fits your topic. And I actually find workshops are very interesting because they are like a narrower group of people that are medical image computing is very, very broad topic, and the general conference will be probably very broad, and not everything will be a fit to your research topic, versus workshop will be super targeted and super niche, and you will probably meet a lot of people that are in your field, and it's a great networking opportunity. And with that, you've seen how many events Mikai Student Board organizes, and Mikai Student Board has rotating members. So every year, a couple of people will leave because they graduate or they want to pursue other opportunities. We will have a couple of openings probably in November or in December. If you're interested in applying, scan this QR code and check it out. Keep track of this web page. You can also subscribe to Mikai Society newsletter. It's a very helpful resource on also what's happening in the medical image community. It also has webinars, and check it out. It might be interesting for you. And with that, we're happy to take any questions.
Thank you a lot, Anna, Amar, and Yanis. That was a very great and lovely presentation to get to know more about the MSB. So yeah, if people could just open their mic and ask questions, or they can drop it on the chat and I can share it with you. From my side, I actually have a question that I really want to ask. So currently, this year, we were honored to have 6 accepted papers from researchers working in Africa. And I would say this is the first time in Mikai to have 6 papers accepted from Africa. When it comes to the Mikai Student Board, do applicants need to have attended Mikai previously, or they, I would say, don't need to have special connection with Mikai to apply for the MSB?
Who wants to take this question?
I, for example, haven't participated in any Mikai conference before, but I discovered MSB and I was really interested in participating in it, even more when it's in the city I grew up in. So it was just kind of a perfect combination, and I did not have to had participated into a conference to apply and to be part of the board. Yeah, if that can help.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, super.
If just to add on, there's no such requirement that you need to be a part of it. Although I was part of Mikai for last 3 years, if I can remember, and I decided that why not contribute being being on the other side of the table. So for me, it was slightly different, but we have both the experience, as you saw that Yanis never participated and is there, and for me from the other side. So yeah.
That's great. And yeah, actually, Yanis, I enjoyed your presentation about Marrakesh. And I had a lot of people when I was saying like I'm going to Marrakesh, they usually say there is a famous waterfall, like I would say, I'm not sure like if it's in Marrakesh or near Marrakesh, that you should visit. Do you have any tips or hints about this anyway?
Yeah, it's called the Uzud Waterfalls, I think you're referring to.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, beautiful. It's maybe 2 hours, 3 hours drive. So it can be a bit hard to get there, but if you're renting a car and you have a car in Marrakesh, and you have a spare day, definitely go visit it. It's beautiful, really beautiful. It's not as big as the Niagara Falls, but it is a different scenic and different landscape, and it's beautiful as well. Yeah, very impressive.
That's very nice to hear, to be honest. Definitely I'll do a visit 100%. So we have a question from Kauthar Mohib. She's asking, what are the different tasks that MS board members do?
I can answer that one. So it would really depend on your role. And we had on the first slide briefly the summary of people that participate in organizing this year's events. So for example, Yanis is super helpful with all the local, as a local student liaison member, he's like super helpful in actually connecting to the local people, actually talking to them. Vina is responsible for organizing webinars. So we have events organized quarterly on different topics. They differ, for example, last one, if I recall correctly, was on the topic how to negotiate your salary when you switch from academia to industry. And that was super cool. And then we have educational officers who are Amar and Ahmed, and their responsibility lays in the organizing these educational events, make a educational challenge, Thesis Madness. And then we have professional events. One of the cool and big things that they do is Academia and Industry panel, which has this collaboration and presentations from different people. Then we have social events. These are the people who are responsible for organizing the social outings that you see presented. Then we have sports also organized, and public relations, which is responsible for PR and stuff. So basically, even though it's a group of people, everyone takes a leadership and ownership of taking care of their respective event, but that doesn't mean that that's it. And a lot of people will go beyond and try to help their peers and colleagues. And in case someone needs more support, they can always ask for help, and people are always ready to step in. So this is like a briefly outline of responsibilities. But yeah, hope that's, let me know if you have anything to add, Yanis or Amar.
No, that's well summarized. I just added, I would also suggest for people to stay updated that do follow us on Twitter or our LinkedIn post. They are updated very regularly. Our public relation team, led by Harry, is very proactive in terms of dispersing the information, and also we keep you updated with changes going on in a medical community in general. So if you're interested and if you're working on similar topics, do follow us, and that will help you stay updated with the news.
Yeah, we have social channels everywhere you can imagine. Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, name it, we have it. I don't think we yet have TikTok, but I think it was in the discussion of having it.
That would be great, I'd say.
We just couldn't figure out whose cat to take as a responsible person to record for TikTok videos, you know?
Thank you a lot actually for this nice introduction and presentation. And we have a question from Cecilia. She's asking, does the MSB have any volunteering opportunities in case anyone wants to get involved while the board is set?
I can answer that one. So no, a short answer. Long answer is that MSB is volunteer on its own organization. So while we set it up every year, not we, but people, the president board and a group of people set it up every year. But afterwards, it's usually no openings anymore for a year. But yeah.
Super, thank you. Thank you, Anna, a lot for this answer. And thank you all for joining, and thank you for the presentation. And for the participants who are joining, I would say, please don't forget to apply for the African grants for attending MICAI. I would say it's a full grant covering your registration, your travels, your accommodation. So if you have a paper, a first author paper, if you are co-authoring a paper, if you have a workshop paper, if you have a motivation to attend, just apply. And applications are on a rolling basis. And yeah, thank you a lot. And hopefully see you soon. See you in Marrakesh, I would say.
Just
Thank
to
you so
add on
much.
one last thing, that we'll share the slides with Marwan, and he can share with on whatever channel is appropriate.
Super. Thank you. Thank you, Amar.
Thank you very much. See you in
Thank
Marrakesh.
you.
See you.
See you.
Thanks, everyone.